Sahaja Maharaj, nothing is everything. December 24th, 1979. What is Sahaja Yoga? Maharaj, all creation is because of five elements. Is there any profit or loss for these elements? Only human beings have that idea. Visitor, what about other living beings? Maharaj, the absence of intelligence, there is no question of any profit and loss. Activities of the five elements go on without any control. Visitor, man has made so much development in this world. Maharaj, he takes pleasure in developing even the imaginary abodes of Vishnu and Shiva. All man-made things are short-lived. What has a beginning must also have an end. Only the self is changeless. To realize it, you must meditate on consciousness, that is, remain in a thought-free state as long as possible. The realization will come to know that this experience, the world that you are having, is all useless. You will come to know that your world is in your mind. To know it, you must be free of all involvement. Otherwise, you cannot accept reality and you prefer to be in your imagination. With realization, your I am vanishes and what remains is your true self. Maharaj is explaining that the totality of creation of both sentient and insentient objects is through the combination of the five elements. They are the ones which are responsible for the manifestation of all these forms. Now, the five elements are not having any idea of profit or loss. But the sentient objects manifested through their combination have all these ideas of profit and loss. This is what Maharaj is explaining, that you should be very careful in your idea of profit and loss, because the five elements are not manifesting as sentient objects with any desire to create a profit and loss. They are not going to be benefited by this manifestation, nor if they don't manifest also, they don't lose anything. So they have no such idea of profit and loss. It is in their nature to manifest, so they manifest. The combination happens spontaneously, and that is how they express themselves and the world appears in their combination. Whereas the sentient objects, even when they are born, they don't have any idea of profit and loss. But as they grow up, they go into this concept of deriving some benefit for them and also prevent the losses that can occur to them. Visitor, what about other living beings? Do they have profit and losses, like animals, birds, etc.? Maharaj is saying that those beings are not having any intelligence. Therefore, they cannot have any idea at all of profit and loss. They are simply exist and go through life as programmed. Their activities are limited to existence and not to intellectual living, because intelligence is not built into them. Whereas man has been provided with the faculty of intelligence, so he has got a developed mind. So the developed mind creates all these confusions. So the visitor feels that man has contributed to a lot of development in this world. Maharaj is explaining that all these are imaginary. Whatever developments you have done in this world are only short-lived. The man not only develops in the physical world but also in the mental world and creates the abodes of Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva, and he tries to improve them. one scripture says something about Kailasa and Vaikuntha, whereas another scripture gives lot more extra details and improvements in the construction of Kailasa and Vaikuntha. These are nothing but an imaginary abodes of imaginary gods, but the mental faculties go on improving them. Same way, there is a tremendous effort to change things in the world and improve them. There is all the effort that is going on the intellect side. But everything is short-lived. What is today will not be there at some point of time in future, and it is changed totally or nullified totally. So the substratum for the world is the consciousness, which alone is appearing as the world. And world is perceived by you mentally, and your world is part of your mind. So world is a concept in your mind, because without your mind and without your thought, there is no way of recognizing the world. So whatever knowledge you are having about the world is all useless, because it simply changes. Whatever world you had in your childhood is no longer available now, or you are not interested in those memories and they have gone. Like that, mind creates memories, keeps them, and then dissolves them. We had some very young age, some memories. All those are wiped out. Maybe remnants may be there. Similarly, the present memories what you are having now will not be there 10 years hence. All your mental worries or anxieties or interests or relations, all of them will disappear 10 years hence, and you will have a new set of thinking. So the totality of your world is nothing but a illusory appearance in your consciousness based on the interest that it creates for this upadhi at that point of time. So to know your real nature, you have to meditate on that principle called the consciousness. For meditation, you have to see that you are totally thought-free. The principle of I am in this three-body principle is the Chidabhasa. The Chidabhasa is the layer lying on top of the Antakarana. It is a food layer formed from the finest part of the food and deposited on top of the Antakarana. All thoughts rise from Chidabhasa because the memory creates impulses, or information comes out from the memory and touches the Chidabhasa, which rages in the form of a wave, and that wave is called as the thought. So information is passed on from the memory through Chidabhasa, through thought, into the physical mind. So this activity goes on, and also the information from the physical mind is received by Chidabhasa and passed on to memory. So Chidabhasa is bidirectional, and any thought disturbs that I am principle of Chidabhasa. So to experience the I am principle of Chidabhasa, you have to slowly eliminate thoughts and come to a thought-free state. When there are totally no thoughts, the I am of Chidabhasa is experienceable. Once thought comes, it disturbs the Chidabhasa's I am. So that cannot be experienced. So effort should be there to lose your interest in the world because it is not real. The thoughts come because of world or the world inside you, which has a strong concept about the reality of it. Unless you are very clear that the world is not real, the thoughts continue to come. Once you know that or get the experience of I am, it will be very clear to you that all your thoughts about the world are totally unreal and they are mere concepts. Visitor, what is unreal? Maharaj, you consider yourself to be that which you are not. Acceptance of the unreal is your trouble and it will last until the true is realized. Do not blame anybody for dishonesty. What changes every moment cannot be honest. In this, everything is changing, including your own identity. So for a question about what is unreal, Maharaj is explaining that you think something about you. That is, you superimpose on you certain roles like father, mother, brother, sister, friend, foe, working so and so, doing so and so, etc. Rich, poor, all sorts of dualistic approaches or identity with a particular role. A role playing is there and identity with the role. That is what happens. These roles are not you. Whatever is superimposed on this body-mind complex is not real because the body-mind are part and parcel of manifestation. They are there always as long as this upadhi exists, and any superimposition that you are so and so is a wrong approach. Body-mind is not wrong. It is part of manifestation and it should function as required, as provided or as programmed. These father, mother, brother, sister, officer, servant, rich, poor, strong, weak, these are not the real ideas that are built into the system at the time of manifestation or during the course of the functioning of this upadhi. These are acquired information, superimposed, and then this particular upadhi's mind believes that it is so and so. It is only a belief system forced into the mind. There is absolutely no reality to it. So this particular one has to be dropped. All the role plays may be there. It may be required in a relative world at the time of the existence of this upadhi. But believing that you are that is the problem. And that belief has to be dropped. That is what Maharaj is explaining. You drop the belief that you are so and so, but continue to move in the world without getting any attachment to the roles that this upadhi is playing. This has to happen until the truth is realized. Unless belief in the role play is dropped, the truth cannot be realized. You have to be honest in your thinking about the roles. This upadhi and its concepts, whatever it has created at any point of time, changes continuously. Your idea about yourself is what you think others are thinking about you. It is not what you think about you. But you consider others to think like this about me and I am that. So this is the confusion. And if the others' thinking changes, your thinking changes. So when they express something different from your idea, then your idea about yourself goes on changing. So there is no reality to what you think you are. So this is only a concept. So your identity is not constant. Your idea about the world is not constant. And your role play goes on changing. So understand that there is nothing constant in this world, and your idea of yourself has to be dropped totally and leave this body-mind as body-mind and let the body-mind function without any concepts. That helps in overcoming all the problems and reduce your thought flow unnecessarily. That helps in realization. Visitor, do you also have worries? Maharaj, here what is there to worry? From your own experience, can you say that there is nobody to worry? No, I am scared of death. What about a jnani? Maharaj, suppose a patient has a urinary problem and there is no urination for 3 days. If the problem is solved and there is normal urination, how will he feel? A jnani has the same joy when the vital breath leaves the body and the consciousness becomes no consciousness. It is described as Paramananda. So for a question whether Maharaj is having any worries, Maharaj is explaining what is there to worry, because there should be something to worry about and there should be somebody there to worry about. These two are required. First thing is there should be somebody here to worry about, and then there is something to be worried about. So he is very clear that there is nobody in that upati to worry or experience or feel happy, elated or to worry about anything. Because that entity called somebody or myself is no longer there as an entity. What is there is a body-mind complex which is functioning, and he knows his real nature is that principle of consciousness which is outside the realm of this three-body principle and enlivening it. In the three-body complexes, I am is already there and it is functional I am or the transactional I am, and the real I am is outside the realm of this three-body principle and enlivening it. So he is very clear that there is nobody other than the principle of consciousness in the upati, and it has no business or no worries, and it does not consider itself as an entity. It is the universal manifesting consciousness and totally impersonal. That is its nature. So jnani's nature is totally impersonal. Maharaj is explaining that sometimes a bodily problem may crop up like a block in the urinary discharge for some time and you feel unhappy. So you go to a doctor and take the help of the doctor and the normal functioning of the body takes place. You get relieved when this happens, when the normal functioning is restored in the body. So jnani also feels the same way when the vital breath leaves the body and the consciousness subsides and goes to a dormant condition. That is called as becoming no consciousness. Once this happens, the absolute appears. So there is nothing called death because it is a transformation from an idea that you are the body-mind to your real nature, which is the absolute. So all these are concepts because first concept is a ego, or the still lower concept is a person. The person moves to a simple state of I am the body. Because person is involved in the world with attachments. I am the body principle is only attached to the body and nothing behind the body. And once that concept is dropped, you understand that you are I am. And when the I am concept also is dropped, then you are the absolute. So there is nothing that happened, all are concepts. And once the concept after concept which are very, very subtle are dropped or overcome by the one which is having the concept, the absolute appears. So there is nothing to get scared of death or fear of the death. And the visitor said, I am scared of death, and Maharaj is confirmed, this is the methodology of death, and your real nature of the absolute appears, and you know you are the absolute at the time of death. So there is nothing to get worried about death, because only you lose a body, but to go back to your real nature, which is the absolute. Visitor, self-realization seems to be the only solution to all problems. Maharaj, I was accused of having been born and I was suffering. But my Guru showed me that I was never born. I was that which always exists and cannot be born. Hence my suffering ended. So for a question that all problems can be, whether they can be solved through self-realization, Maharaj says, yes. The realization confirms that, tries to remove all your concepts. The first concept that you have is that you are born. After birth, you have got attached to the body and your suffering in the world started. Once that concept of I was born is removed, your concept that you are the body is removed automatically, because body is there, body is born, but you are not born. So once this is understood that you are not present at the time of your birth, but you appeared in the body at a later stage, the body came first, and you so-called you have appeared in the body at a later stage, and you are not there all the time during the course of a day in the body. You are there only during the waking and dream states. In the deep sleep state, you are not available. That indicates that you, the ego, or the one who is attached to the body, is not the real entity, and you are not that body. Once this is clear, and you slowly the ego gets dropped, and you move to the principle of I am, and you know that principle of I am is the eternal principle and the highest principle in manifestation, then your suffering is no longer there, and your concept that you are born also disappears. Visitor, what is Sahaja Yoga or natural yoga? Maharaj, it is to meditate on your consciousness as God. You need not go anywhere for it. Do it wherever you are. There is no equipment required to do it. No outer help is required. Be with yourself. Visitor, how to meditate? Maharaj, knowing that you are not the body, hold your consciousness with itself. Visitor, we should not just imagine as we are told, but actually be it. Maharaj, when you woke up in the morning, who came to know it? Visitor, it takes some time to know that I am really awake. So Maharaj is explaining what Sahaja Yoga is. Sahaja Yoga is initially to meditate on the consciousness as God, or to propitiate the consciousness as God. The principle of consciousness, which is the highest principle in the manifestation, is immanent in this upadhi, and that alone has appeared as this three-body principle. And this three-body principle, which is an appearance to the consciousness, is run by the consciousness. It is enlivened by it, and after being enlivened, it is programmed in such a way that it can function on its own without any interference. So all that the consciousness actually does in its course of existence is simply to enliven the upadhi. And once this happens, the upadhi gets enlivened and functions. So to do or to be the consciousness, you don't have to go anywhere, because consciousness is eternally there and it is not run away. Your confusion is that you think that you are somebody and consciousness is something somewhere else. That is your idea. Your real nature is consciousness, that I am principle, and right now having got attached to the body, you think you are the body and you have to locate the consciousness. You don't have to locate the consciousness at all. You have to drop the idea that you are the body. Once that idea or concept that I am the body is dropped, all attachments and associations that come in this concept that I am the body also drop themselves automatically. Because if you are not the body, no other attachments can come near you, because those concepts are created with the idea that you are the body. You say, I am so and so. All that so and so is with the belief that you are the body. If you are not the body, that so and so will vanish automatically. When that concept of I am the body is dropped, your real nature of I am appears. So in meditation, you have to drop your total belief system and understand that it is false. It is only falsification of the known that happens because you are the consciousness and you don't have to acquire it newly. It is your basic nature. Wrong mental concepts have to be dropped so that the existence principle can be realized, or its expression is experienced. For this, no equipment is required, no help from outside is required. All that is required is you have to be yourself. So Vijay says we should not just imagine, but we have to be actually that. Imagination is always that of the mind, and your real nature is that existence principle I am. I am is not a thought principle, I am is an existence principle, and existence principle cannot be thought of, can only be experienced. You have to be it, and you are already it. So Maharaj is explaining that when you wake up in the morning, how do you know? Because the first thing you experience when you wake up is that I am principle. That I am principle is the first experience, and slowly when the body consciousness comes, that I am goes and gets attached to the body and say I am the body, and with that the world appears. Without you being the body, the world cannot appear or world cannot be experienced. So I am the body, later on is developed, and for that, the first experience when you wake up is that principle, I am. Maharaj, all these talks are really to wake you up. 100 years back, you had no experience of day and night, waking and sleep, and all of conscious, and also of conscious and non-conscious. That is timeless experience. The present one is time-bound. Sri Ramana Maharshi and Sri Anandamayi Ma were asked whether they sleep. They said no. Does a jnani have any attraction to existence in a form? Maharaj, no. Everyone sees the dream of birth in which one is born, and in the same dream sees one's parents. Birth is the happening of the bliss of sexual union, along with the appearance of the dormant memory. I am. Birth is a transition from no I am state to I am state. So Maharaj is explaining that all the talks which he is giving is to wake the person and to inform him that you are not this body but you are the consciousness. All the talks are directed towards that particular information only, and that is all that is passed on in his talks. And also he is informing him that your original nature is not even that I am principle, but that principle of absolute, and absolute alone has appeared as I am principle, and through I am principle as the body-mind complex. So your real nature is the I am, is the absolute, and absolute has nothing called as the waking, dream and deep sleep states, nor consciousness and unconsciousness in him. There is no question of day and night. This is a timeless experience, absolute. Depends, the I am principle becomes immanent in this upati. The I am principle itself is time bound, and as long as it is there, this upati functions and experiences the world. Whereas the totality of this upati, including the I am principle, are not real, but the Absolute alone is real. So, Mr. is saying that Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi and Anandamayi Ma explained that they do not sleep. So, what it means is that in the case of a Jnani, the three states disappear: waking, dream and deep sleep. Ego functions in the waking and dream states. In the waking state, ego functions along with Atman. In the dream state, totally belongs to the ego because it is the one which is moving information from inside the Antakarana and expressing it. And the deep sleep state, ego is dormant. Because of the ego only, the deep sleep state has come, because the Siddhavasa gets punctured because of the pressure of thoughts that are expressed during the dream state. When the ego has totally vanished, the Atman runs the Upati and runs it in such a way that it functions when required. When not required, it moves to its natural state, which is called the Sahaja Yoga, or what Ramana Maharshi calls as Jagrat Sushupti. In Jagrat Sushupti, you are in the state of deep sleep state all the time. That is, you are totally dormant. That is, you are in that I am principle, but ready to move into the world when there is a requirement. You are eternally vigilant, you are eternally alert, but your natural state is now I am. So you move to that I am and ready to move into the world. That is what is called as the Jagrat Sushupti. So once that happens, the deep sleep state does not come. The dreams do not exist. There is nothing called as a waking state. Your real state is that I am, but totally alert to move into the waking when required, when there is an external stimulus. Otherwise, the Upati does not move on its own into the external world. There is no requirement for this Upati to move into the external world and function. But if there is an external stimulus, it does. Also, it has been built in such a way that there are some functional aspects of the Upati, and those functional aspects will be taken care by the Upati and it will function in that way. Maharaj, no. Everyone sees the dream of the birth in which one is born, and in the same dream sees one's parents. Birth is the happening of the bliss of sexual union, along with the appearance of the dormant memory, I am. Birth is the transition from no I am state to the I am state. So, your physical birth is not real, because in the physical birth, a body appears, because body is on the physical plane, and that is all that is manifested through the union of the parents. The I am, which is dormant in this process, gets transferred or appears, and the functional I am, Chidabhasa, develops in time, and after its development, Upadi starts functioning in a total way, and it starts expressing and experiencing the world. Until then, it is only playing under the control of the Atman. Atman is taking care of this Upati until the Chidabhasa is completely formed. So the baby really doesn't remember anything during the course of its existence for the first 3 years, because memory is not fully formed. That is, information is not going to the memory during this period. So the so-called birth is nothing but transition from no I am state to I am state. No I am state is no Chidabhasa, and I am is the Chidabhasa's formation. Whereas the original immanent Atman is or appears active From its dormant stage, moment the prana appears. That is, the moment the embryo is constituted and the prana appears simultaneously, the Atman also appears. So the original immanent principle is there right from the beginning, whereas the functional I am appears at a later part after the upadhi or the physical body appears on the physical plane. Visitor, how can I be complete, total and perfect? Maharaj, you are already that from which your I am knowledge and the experience of day and night have arisen. Only your ignorance has to drop. The experience is termed as a word. Do not get over-impressed by great things. It is really the greatness of your vision that is important to these things. Your vision is the primary illusion or the great God. So, visitor is interested in knowing how to become complete, total and perfect. That is his desire. Maharaj is explaining that there is no requirement to do anything about that because you are already perfect. Your principle of I am is the most perfect existence principle, which is totally devoid of any activity. It is so perfect that it simply knows that it is and enlivens everything that is around it. Because that appeared only in this upadhi, the upadhi is able to experience through the pancha jnanendriyas, and whatever they experience through the pancha jnanendriyas, 5 organs of sensing, is the world. The so-called world is nothing but what is perceived by the 5 organs of sensing. So there is nothing called world except what this upadhi perceives, and that information I am is nothing but a primal ignorance. That ignorance, when the primal ignorance drops, the absolute appears. And as long as that is there, this upadhi will be forced to experience the world. Because the body and the mind are enlivened by it, and it goes on doing the spin pricking action, because of which the upadhi will become functional. So whatever this upadhi is doing is as programmed by that principle I am, which itself is ignorance. So you don't have to get excited about all the things done by this upadhi because they have no value and no meaning. Ultimately you know that the upadhi has served the purpose of the principle of I am and functioned as programmed. Other than that, it has done nothing, and there is nothing called achievement in this world. Because whatever you are acting on is on the I am principle only. So the I am principle, which is immanent in this upadhi, is acting on the I am principle of the world through this upadhi. So I am principle is not going to achieve anything in the I am principle of the world. It is only a play. So if this is understood, you have got nothing to act upon with great vigor and energy to achieve anything. Only accept the play as play and act as per that. That is, the one that acts is the body-mind, not you. You are only a silent spectator or the witness of all this action, and you are not involved in this because you are that impersonal consciousness. You are the one who is imparting your consciousness to this upadhi, because of which the upadhi is functioning. All those world is experienced by this upadhi because you, the Atman or the consciousness, is enlivening this upadhi. So understand that you are the source of everything in this upadhi, and the upadhi is run by you as a witness and not as a involved person. But also you should be understood that this I am principle is the primary illusion or the great God, whatever you call it, because The power in the absolute pulls material out of the absolute and pushes it outside, called Mahatattva. That Mahatattva alone appears as the Atman in a limited way in a Upati. But absolute has no material, that is why he is totally formless. From a formless, no material absolute, the power pushes material in abundance outside it. So this creates, this itself is called as the illusion, because how the power pulls out material from a entity where there is no material. So this is explained as the power is creating a illusory material for the absolute to see and enliven. So absolute, which is eternally available with eyes open, goes on enlivening the whole material outside, and when absolute enlivens that material, it appears as I am, and the world play starts. So the world is made out of a illusory material called as the Mahatattva, and that Mahatattva is the source for all the sentient and insentient forms in the world. So the I am principle itself is illusory, and only reality is the absolute. Visitor, what is Guru's job? Maharaj, the knowledge about myself was available with me earlier. My Guru only reminded me about it. Everything is my expression, and all will merge into me finally. Visitor, how do you differ from time? Maharaj, time has a beginning and an end. I have none. How do I differ from my sense of being? Maharaj, the sense of being is the quality of the three gunas, of sattva, rajas and tamas. You are not these qualities and are separate from them. So Maharaj is explaining that his Guru has helped him to uncover his ignorance. He is thinking that he is the body-mind, and his Guru told him that you are not that what you think you are. And he is reminded of his true nature. Once that reminder has come, Maharaj has able to meditate on Guru's teaching and understand what that ignorance is, and is able to drop that concept of I am the body, which is the primal ignorance. Once that primal ignorance is dropped, remaining everything is automatic, and he has realized. So also Maharaj says that the time is a concept, and the concept has a beginning and an end, whereas the I am principle in this Upadhi is timeless and experienced even before the body appeared, and that is the last thing that is experienced in the Upadhi. When it becomes dormant, and it is no longer experienceable, because it is the one which is experiencing itself all the time. There is nobody else that is experiencing it. So that principle is considered as eternal, because that is the one which is running this Upadhi, and in its absence the Upadhi is non-functional. It cannot know anything. And also Maharaj is explaining that all the activities in this Upadhi is due to the principle of I am, which is also called as the Saguna Brahman. Saguna means it is qualities. The I am principle is a combination of sattva, rajas and tamas, and whatever it manifests as the panchatanmatras or the panchabhutas, each of these bhutas have got all the three qualities of sattva, rajas and tamas embedded in that. Percolation of the Atman into the manifestation also is done with these three qualities, and the qualities express themselves as the activities in this Upadhi. Those qualities are responsible for all the activities. There is nobody who is acting, but these qualities force the Upadhi to act in a specific way. Visitor, can I know myself by reading scriptures? So Maharaj, do you know you are by reading books? So Maharaj is confirming that you are that existence principle which exists eternally, And this upadhi is the one which is helping you to understand that you are the existence principle. Even though body functions are there and thought functions are there in this upadhi, you are neither the body nor the thought, but you are that existence principle which is enlivening this upadhi. And if you are the existence principle, the words in the book are nothing but expressions of the thought of the writer, and when you read it, a thought is created in you, and that is goes into the memory. So all the scriptures lead you to thought-oriented understanding. You are not the thought, because thought represents the world. You are not the thought, but you are the existence principle which is superior and higher and which is enlivening the world. So you cannot be found in the books, and you cannot know your existence by reading books, because your existence is known to you already, because the Chidabhasa is formed and functioning in this upadhi. That is the one through which you know you are, not by reading books. And you cannot experience the Chidabhasa by reading books. Chidabhasa has to be experienced inside this upadhi as your real nature of I am. For that, you have to move to thought-free state initially. Mister, sometimes I have a feeling that I know myself. Maharaj, as long as that feeling is there, be sure that the freedom and joy of self-realization is not there. Until the concept of birth is there, one is not out of ignorance. Mister, why am I not yet free? Maharaj, you are trying to remind yourself to be the self, but your body identity is intact. Before saying I am, what you are is your true self. Visitor, what is my difficulty? Maharaj, it is easy to make use of consciousness, but it is difficult to get established as consciousness. The body identity remains in the background. You see with your eyes, but do not see the eyes. While making use of consciousness, you should also be aware of consciousness. The use of consciousness does not give you peace and tranquility. That is possible only by establishing as consciousness. So Maharaj is explaining to various questions about feeling that I am the self and establishing as the self. The feeling that I am the self is telling that is a thought process. You think that you are. That is what. So there you are using the consciousness to create a thought, and thought says I am. So there is a difference in the thought saying I am and getting established in the principle of existence, which is saying I am all the time. When the thought says I am, it drops that principle I am in the next thought and goes on hanging to some other thought. So it is a temporary expression of thought. One thought says I am, next thought says I want to eat something. So the I am in the thought has disappeared and some other thought has come. So thought is temporary and only an idea created in the mind, and whatever is in the memory is expressed as thought. So it is unreal. So there is a lot of difference between the thought principle and the existence principle, because the existence principle of Chidabhasa is directly enlivened by the Absolute, and the Chaitanya is received by that existence principle, and it is eternally saying I am, or that vibration of existence is available on that, because of which it knows it is. So that particular experience is entirely different from thought expression. Thought is an expression. I am is not an expression, but it is a direct experience which is eternal. So there is these are entirely different. Maharaj is telling that I am principle is using the body mind to express, and thought is helpful in guiding the body to function. That is what all the thought is for. So there is no use in thinking of I am, are using that consciousness for the activities to be performed by the upadhi called the body and mind. Yes, without consciousness, these two cannot perform, and consciousness is using this body mind. But to be established as I am, the body mind have to be separated from you. The idea that you are the body mind has to go, and once that goes only, your real movement from thought realm to existence realm happens, and getting established in I am can take place only when those concepts that I am this body, I am this mind are totally dropped. As long as the concepts are there, you will be in the realm of the concepts and not in the existence principle. You cannot move to the existence. That's what Maharaj said. You have to get established in consciousness. Then only you will have peace and tranquility. Otherwise, you will be involved in the world which brings in unhappiness and suffering. Visitor, what is the reason for our fear and unhappiness? Maharaj, if you are a painter and you work as a dentist, there will be fear and unhappiness. Similarly, you have accepted the work of the three gunas as your own work. Hence, all these problems trouble you. Maharaj is explaining the cause of fear. One that is performing in this world is the body-mind, which is a constituent of the five tanmatras or the five mahabhutas and their combination. Each of these elementals or elements have got three gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas, and the actual functioning in this world is taking place because of these gunas. The gunas force this upadhi to act in a particular way, depending on which guna is dominant at the time of expression. So, the one that is functioning clearly in this world is the gunas or the qualities which force this upadhi to perform. But you, the ego, believe that you are the one who is doing all these things. The gunas, the Bhagavad Gita clearly says, guna guneshu vartante. So the jnani knows that only the gunas are performing and there is nobody other than gunas inside this upadhi to perform. Whereas the ego superimposes all these actions onto itself and says that I am the doer of all these actions. So it is to be understood that there is nobody in this body, but only gunas are there and gunas are functioning. But if you are the ego, that is a concept that I am this body and responsible for all the body's actions, then you are the sufferer and there is fear for you. But if you understand that only the gunas are performing as per the programming that has already taken place in this upadhi, because at the time of programming of this antakarana, only a specific combination of gunas can be programmed, and this upadhi functions in that way only during the course of its life as programmed. Even though each tanmatra has got a capacity for the total variation in the gunas, once the antakarana is made, only one particular combination of the sattva, rajas and tamas of each tanmatra can be kept in the antakarana, and thus the antakarana is pre-programmed. Once it is made, it cannot be changed during its lifetime. So whatever this upadhi expresses is because of that combination. In case of some things, it may be in the sattvic mode. In the case of expression, it may be in the rajasic mode, etc. So it is the gunas which are expressing through this body, and even the physical body is having all the three gunas. Even though it is more dominant with tamas, the other two, sattva and rajas, are available in this physical body also. That is how the body functions because of the gunas only. So if you have to understand that the body and the mind are functioning because of the programming of the particular combination of gunas in them, and there is no you anywhere in this. If you think you are, then all the problems belong to you. If you are not, then there is nobody, and the body, mind are functioning as programmed. Visitor, what are we if not these bodies? Maharaj, you are neither the bodies nor the consciousness. In the body there is the news you are. How can you be your news? You are separate from it. You give different names to living food bodies of different sizes and shape, like man, horse, donkey, etc. There is use of photography to create bodies of the same type. If we are the reality, why follow any religious practices? Maharaj, the ignorant follow them for the satisfaction of following a tradition and also for entertainment. So for a question whether we are the bodies or not, Maharaj is confirming that you are not the bodies nor the consciousness. The bodies and the mind are manifested by consciousness, which is the universal material cause. The consciousness is basically a material which is endowed with the capability of receiving Chaitanya and can say I am. So it has the capability to manifest as anything and everything because Chaitanya is enlivening it. So that primordial matter can take any form and that form appears. So it has a method of manifestation where it can appear as the Tanmatras and Panchabhutas, and they in turn manifest as in their own combination into various forms of Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. All the 5 forms which constitute the world are nothing but the expression of that principle consciousness. So when the consciousness appears, it manifests. But that consciousness itself is not real. This is already discussed. So when the body appears, in the body I am principle appears as the Chidabhasa. So you cannot be the news. News is I am. It was not there at some point of time. It appeared at another point of time. So the I am principle immanent in this body, mind, is the original principle I am, which is there right from its inception up to its death. And the I am principle itself becomes dormant at death. So you cannot be even that I am principle also. So for the food bodies, you give different names depending on their stage and the method. Like all the animals, birds, human beings, all these things are various forms. So they are not real, and the real one is the absolute. They are all part of manifestation. So how the manifestation is created is through a sense of continuing the genetic information, and that genetic information is an imprint in the memory, and that goes on repeating itself. It is a photographic memory that is available. Visitor, if we are the reality, why follow the religious practices? So if you are very clear that you are the absolute reality, what is the purpose of following all these practices? That is what you have got lot of rituals, and the rituals are done. So Maharaj is telling all these rituals have no meaning. They are the ones created by the religion with a sense that there is a God and you have to propitiate it to get benefited, or that God will take you to some higher lokas or realms after your death, out of which you will be benefited and He will help you in reaching those realms of existence. That means you believe in your continued existence and move to a higher realm. So for the moving from this realm to that realm, there should be an entity called you. But are you there? The whole question is, are you really there? Or what appears as you Have you sure what that entity called yourself is? Once this is understood, that there is no one called yourself and you are not there, but what is there is a body, mind, enlivened by consciousness, and the so-called yourself is nothing but an ego, which is an appearance in the memory, and it has no value, and it is a false entity. So if this is understood, then all your problems are solved, and you know your real nature as the absolute in course of time. Movement takes time to absolute, but I am movement can be experienced if your concepts have dropped immediately. Once it is known that there is nobody, then who has to do these rituals and who has to go where and who has to get benefited? Who has this profit and loss account? None of them are having any meaning. So it is more entertainment rather than anything else. Visitor. Our existence is almost like a dream. Maharaj, our consciousness is like the light of an oil lamp, which burns as long as there is oil. When there is nothing to burn, the light gets extinguished. There is no coming or going, no heaven, no hell. So Maharaj is confirming that this principle of consciousness, I am, runs on this body, mind, and as long as this body is capable of functioning, it can stay in this and function. When the body is not able to function at all, like the exhausting of oil in the oil lamp, then the consciousness becomes dormant there itself, because it has no place to go. The totality of the universe is having the consciousness as the substratum, and there is no place where the consciousness is not there. So consciousness need not move anywhere, it becomes dormant there and there itself. That is what is called as the extinguishing of the light, because the oil is exhausted. Here the oil has not exhausted, but the oil has become, the consciousness has become dormant. So there is nobody coming, there is nobody going, because everything is happening spontaneously, then and there itself. The three realms of Virat, Hiranyagarbha and Ishvara are on three planes of existence. So from a higher plane to lower plane, it is only a manifestation, and there is nothing called real physical movement. It is only planes itself are different. You can say movement only in a particular plane, but these planes being different, that is not called as movement, but it is called as manifestation. So this principle of Atman is eternally there in the totality of the universal existence. It is a substratum for the total universe, and it cannot come from somewhere and it cannot go somewhere. So you being that consciousness, you cannot come from somewhere or cannot go from somewhere. Nor the Absolute. The Absolute cannot come from somewhere or go somewhere. It is eternally there. It is the Absolute. So, heaven and hell are concepts of human beings who wants to continue their existence as a body-mind. There is nothing like a continuation as a body and mind, because the consciousness itself is not continuing, which is the source for the total manifestation. That which has enlivened this upati itself has become dormant. So there is nothing like heaven and hell. They are all mental concepts. With this, we conclude this topic.